Hello Bookish friends, welcome to my November wrap-up part 2. I know November is not over yet, but it is very unlikely that I will finish another book in the month of November. In this video, I will talk about the 5 works that I finished in the second half of November. Like I did in my previous wrap-ups, I will insert the clips that I've recorded very soon after I finish those works. Today is the 15th of November and I finished a book that I was listening for my Relax Book Club, which was a Turkish classic book, Hakka, Sığındık by Hüseyin, Rahmi, Gürpınar. In this book, a letter comes to a mansion in the capital of the Ottoman Empire, Istanbul, during the period of Spanish flu. And in this letter, addressed to the owner of the house, 3 members of the family will die from Spanish flu if they do not give money to a supposedly holy person in the town. The father of the house discusses this with his neighbor and decides that it's a second job to get money from these rich families. However, when 3 members of the family dies from Spanish flu, another letter, this time threatening the neighboring mansion, they decide to follow this holy man's orders and give him the money in order to secure the life of the potential victims in that house. I actually read the modernized Turkish version of the book, and I realized that I really like the tone of the author's voice, even though it was not the same words that were used. I think the subtle humor was kept in the book. Now I am very pleased that I will be able to read more books from this author, which I couldn't read before because of the heavy Ottoman-inspired language. This book has actually sections. The first section is the build-up section. The second part is the investigation of what is really happening. And the third part is a very interesting social drama. Those parts separately were done very well. However, the integration between those parts felt a bit weak. Considering this author was the pioneer of the Turkish authors who wrote in a modern Western structure, I think the book is quite a good one. And to be honest, although the book had subtle humor in the first 2 sections, also quite sad that not much has changed even after more than 100 years. Overall, I quite enjoyed this listening experience and I gave Hakka, Sığındık by Hüseyin, Rahmi, Gürpınar a 7 out of 10. Today is the 21st of November and I finished the book that I was bud reading with Naomi and Nikki, the 4th book in Sam Wyndham's series, Death in the East by Abir, Mukherjee. The book takes place in 1921 in India, and Sam Wyndham, who's an officer in the British police force, decides to beat his opium addiction and get treatment in a rural town. While going to this town, he thinks he recognizes a man from his past who has tried to kill him. From that point on, we follow the story in 2 timelines. In 1922 timeline, in which Sam is trying to recover from his addiction, and 1905 timeline in London, in which Sam, as a very young police officer, tries to solve the murder of his ex-girlfriend. This mystery series have always been very good in teaching us the details about the time period in India, and also we've become very fond of the characters in general. These 2 aspects were very present in this book as well. I really liked the very realistic depiction of trying to get over an addiction. The character development of Sam was impressive from the beginning of the book until the end. The mystery was also quite interesting. However, in the sections when there were 2 timelines in the story, the connection between them were quite weak. Focus was certainly on the past timeline, which made it a bit hard to concentrate on 1922 timeline, especially in the middle of the book. However, the ending was, I think, great. The structure of the mystery really reminded me of Agatha Christie, which of course made it a bit more endearing for me. So overall, I gave Death in the East by Abir Mukherjee a 7 out of 10. Today is the 24th of November and I finished the last book that I was reading for Books of Alfred Hitchcock project, The Rainbird Pattern by Victor Canning. By reading this book, I completed my project. In this book, we follow two seemingly separate events. Two people do kidnap prominent government officials in England for money, while at the same time an elderly woman is trying to bring the missing elements of her family together before she dies. Although there seems to be no connection between them, we gradually see what is really happening in both of the plot lines. An inclusion of a very lovable psychic do bring these two plot lines together. Although this thriller had its light-hearted moments, actually it was quite a dark thriller. As for the plot lines, I have to say I was much more interested in the plot line involving the missing relative of the elderly lady, because it included the lovable psychic and her very loyal boyfriend. The plot line involving actually some kind of supernatural elements too was quite interesting for me. The kidnapping plot line, on the other hand, seemed a bit emotionless, and although I understood the reason why, at the end of the book, those parts failed to capture my attention, actually. I quite liked the writing style. It was fast-paced and especially in the plotline involving elderly Mrs. Rainbird, had quite emotional and light-hearted moments as well. Overall, I gave The Rainbird Pattern by Victor Canning a 7 out of 10. Today is the 25th of November and I finished the book that I was reading with Loretta, the third book in Dexter series, Dexter in the Dark. In this book, Dexter is getting ready to be married and he has an excellent relationship with his future stepkids. One day, the police department finds the headless corpses of two young girls, and the killing seems to be some sort of ritual killing. As they try to find the killer, Dexter also struggles with the fact that his urge to kill, which he calls Dark Passenger, has left him and he feels unbalanced because of this new situation. The first two books in the series were surprisingly good for me. I really liked some parts of this book too. The character development of all of the characters are excellent. And the relationship between Dexter and his future stepkids and his sister Deborah is amazing. I really like those scenes in which Dexter interacts with them. Like I said in the previous books, I think the point of view of Dexter and the way that the author chooses to tell the story is very good. It has a subtle humor. I really do like the character of Dexter and also root for him. On the other hand, for this book, I have to say I really did not like the mystery and its very weird solution. I thought it did not fit the general tone of the other two books. It was still a very good buddy reading experience with Loretta. I really do like exchanging ideas with Loretta. She really likes thrillers like I do. And we share the same love for quite complex and somewhat morally grey characters. Overall, I gave Dexter in the Dark by Jeff Lindsay a 7 out of 10. Today is the 27th of November and I finished the second book that I was reading for nonfiction November, which was Bir Ömür Nasıl Yaşanır by İlber Ortaylı. This book is actually an interview of İlber Ortaylı, a very famous historian in my country. The book consists of three main sections. In the first part, we learn about the historian's life, his life experiences, how he became to be so successful, and how much he spent abroad and tried to search for opportunities to better himself. In the second part, he talks about the places that he visited and suggests the reader a variety of number of cities to visit. In the third part, he talks about the cultural aspects that he prefers, and in that part he also gives recommendations, books to read, films to watch, stage productions to attend, museums to visit, and so on. It is sort of like recommendations on how to live life, which is actually the Turkish meaning of the title. I really liked the first part of this book. His life experiences was very interesting, and I really admired his courage in deciding what to do, and also his knowledge of many people significant in the Turkish history. Second part was sort of interesting too. I love visiting countries, and I like to travel many places, and like he says, I always prefer to walk in the cities, and I really love cities that we can walk. However, in that part, his expression of those places being the best places to visit, or you must visit those places, really annoyed me, because I really do not like such sharp and divisive expressions when it comes to preference. And in the third part, I was really annoyed because this expression was very dominant in terms of books, movies, and plays. I sincerely believe, especially those cultural aspects, are very personal to an individual, and we cannot condemn anybody for liking different type of music, different type of books, or different type of movies, as long as they are involved in some kind of cultural activity. So overall, my rating decreased as I read the book more and more. I gave Bir Ömür Nasıl Yaşanır by İlber Ortaylı a 6 out of 10. So those were 5 works that I finished in the second half of November. Please comment down below, have you read any of the books that I mentioned in this video, and what did you think of them? If you're a new viewer, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. As for Turkish word of the day, I'm going to choose East. East means Doğu in Turkish, and Doğu is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.